Hey, Soul Survivors. So I was getting ready to do a viewer topic request and it started to rain. So I got everything ready to kind of dance in the rain and relive that inner child. But it changed. By the time I set everything up, which was only about 5 minutes, things shifted. So I was ready to embrace the day for what it was, get prepared, and then it changes. So our life will change. And we're kind of doing a little experiment. If the rain comes back, how do we deal with it? So her topic is dealing with some of the depression that goes through when we're in certain relationships that fall apart, such as a divorce, custody agreements. And she has this like depression or inner feeling that is kind of nagging at her to where she sees her ex being happy with the new supply. And the comparing that she does is natural, but it is also unhealthy. We have to take care of ourselves. And so when she's starting to look at what he has, she forgets about what she herself has. Now, she is involved in a relationship with a married person and also sees other people. So she is saying, why don't I have this full relationship? And we have to take a step back. Statistically, only about 6% of affairs turn into relationships. And then you got to also, on top of that, take into account the success of those kind of relationships. A lot of times a cheater will just cheat again if they are able to break a relationship with someone that they're married to be with somebody different. A lot of times it goes to like the depth of their commitment. They're able to marry somebody but not be committed. So it gets confusing because sometimes we're like, but it's better between us. And that could be, it could be that your relationship with a married person might possibly be better, but it's not available. So even if it feels better, it's not available. So when we're investing in people, are we investing in people that have the amount of capacity to invest back with us? So also, she's filling some voids by being with other people. Now, we have to understand if we're looking for a partner, a lifelong partner, whether it's just a life partner or a marriage partner, somebody who's really going to commit to us. Are we putting forth, if you're going to write down, let's pretend I'm a little Barbie doll and I write down all the qualifications, are they going to pick this as Barbie wife, or like girlfriend or one night stand type thing, to where what's on our checklist? Because we start thinking about what we would want in a partner. Are they responsible, trustworthy, kind, but what are we offering to them? And I was watching this video about the promiscuous woman, and we have to be careful because it changes our mindset to where you can start seeking like your self-worth within that. And it's actually over time lowers your self-worth. And it's kind of like a vicious cycle where you're trying to fill that hole in your cup, but it's also depleting it even more because you want this, at least she does, you want this committed full relationship. And then you start seeing, this is what I have, and it's not fulfilling. So it causes like this self-reflection within yourself that I'm not fulfilled, as opposed to building up that self-esteem, building up the self-worth, waiting for the person who is right for you. And we also have to be careful. There was this one person who wanted to be with me. I was not in the thought process of dating him, but I give him a lot of credit. He did open up that he said that he wanted to date me, but he's been struggling to tell me that he has herpes. And I give him a lot of credit for saying that. But he also had it during protected sex. He gave it to somebody else. So we have to really think about, our sexual health. Is it worth risking for somebody who is just a one night stand, or somebody you see 3 times a year just for a few moments of when you're either bored, depressed, lonely, looking for some fun? Because it's not a foolproof method for protection. And also, if you're in the child bearing stage. Do you want to risk that pregnancy? So as far as comparing, when we can do a mind shift, and I promise you, it is so important to understand what you focus on is what you get. So when you focus on not having anything, that's what you're going to feel. And when you focus on what you are happy that you have, so let's say you live in a trailer, you can be depressed about it or sad or longing for what other people have that you're not within yourself because this is your situation, and be grateful for it. Because you cannot have graciousness and anxiety at the same time. It's almost like what flips. The part of our brain that is responsible for that can kind of only handle one at a time. So when we're focusing on what we're grateful for, you can work towards something in the future, but we also have to live in today, not focus on the past. We can learn from the past, but when we ruminate too much or compare our lives to others, we have to just deal with our life. What do we have? So she is talking to that married person. He does contact her. So for her peace of mind, if this is the route that she wants to go down, that she has to be thankful that he's giving her some time. Is that necessarily the healthiest thing to do? It might be a Band-Aid right now. And it's easier said than done, but to get to somebody's true intentions, that sometimes if we back off, it gives them time to process, gives them time to evaluate what they really want, or to go through, if that relationship is going to fail, they can process that relationship and become available. There does need to be some downtime to reflect on things. And it's a difficult situation. We fall in people that aren't available, and we have to understand. They say it's really interesting that we're not available ourselves when we're dating somebody who's not available. So you got to think about it. Is it because that way you're not going to feel overwhelmed? They can only see you a certain amount of time, or you don't have to have those deep conversations or get stressed about money. What is it in you that isn't available? Because there are literally thousands of men out there that are available. So when we think about our self-esteem, are we afraid that nobody else is going to want us? And that to me is kind of a core feeling that she's getting is, why am I not good enough? Why doesn't anybody want me? And she had been with this one person who was interested in her, but she was saying, that I'm really liking this other guy. I'm seeing other people casually. And she was very honest. So that is amazing that she was honest with these people. But when you think about that little Barbie doll for sale, is that checking the list? Do people want promiscuous people? And I know they say that body count, a lot of people are like, does it really matter? You know, when the numbers are really high, you really got to think about what is going on, because some people just want to have fun. I'm not going to pass judgment on people, but we have to get to the root of it. Are they using people? Are they irresponsible? Are they running from commitment? And the more people you sleep with, the more soul ties that you have. And this is an important thing. The more soul ties you have, the more you do that comparison. Remember how she's comparing to what her ex has now. And so when we compare, it leads to unsatisfaction. So if you're in a relationship with a new partner and you've had, 50 people in the past, you're like, why doesn't he do this? And he's not romantic this way, or he's not as built, or on and on and on. All these comparison things that will pop into your mind. The more people you're with, the more that, the options of these intrusive thoughts. So, stay true to yourself and, stay healthy. Know what your worth is, because when you settle, that's what you get. So if you're just willing to take on people who are cool with just, kicking it, then that's the relationship you're going to have. If you want a true relationship, then you have to wait for somebody, and you have to give it time to, they talk about the vasopressin to develop. And that is like the bonding hormone with men. Men and women are different. Chemically, we are different. And there's so much truth to it. Now, as we're shifting with the women becoming more masculine, whether it's being more assertive in the workplace, or these are all survival modes. But um, when when we are getting depressed, we have to understand we have to give ourselves some grace. We have to realize this is our situation. Is this the situation that I want? Is it healthy? Will it get better? And you can talk to your partner and ask. A lot of times, if you're in these kind of relationships, there are certain kinds of restrictions to where, it's hard to say, can you call me every Thursday night? Because they have obligations to somebody else. So that's going to lead to hurt feelings or anxiety because of the inconsistency. So let's say you set it up for Thursday nights and you get about 60% of the time they call you. It's going to eventually cause anxiety. It can cause brain damage too. When you're looking, like when you get what you expect, it feels safe. It feels predictable. But when it's not predictable, you can think about it like, have you ever been in a dark house, maybe just a place that you're not used to, as opposed to your house? You know it, you know that you can walk through the living room or do whatever. But if you're in a different place, it gets sometimes scary going down certain halls. You don't know, am I going to wake somebody up? Or is there an animal that's going to pop out? Or what's that sound? That's anxiety. It's the unknown. So when you're in relationships, we kind of want that safety and security. And is this person providing that for you? But the main thing I wanted to say, as far as this viewer topic request, is give yourself grace, focus on either what you have and be grateful for that, because that's when it'll build. But if you focus on the negative, the relationship's going to be filled with negativity anyways, because you're going to be anxious. You're going to be more inquisitive, which will be seen as nagging. You're going to be more controlling over, when are you doing this? And we need to set this up, and it's not going to flow naturally. So these relationships a lot of times are set up for failure. So when you stick it out to hopefully have that person leave the relationship, only 6% of those kinds of relationships go into full-term relationships. And I haven't done the statistical research on the survivability of those, but a lot of times when you stick it out, that they're going to see you as either what destroyed their relationship or a reminder of, the craziness, and that might cause them to reflect on themselves. Not everybody is a narcissist that cheats. So maybe they're going to feel guilty or less than, or they didn't uphold what they should have upheld. And there was one comment that I had read where this one guy was talking about this one girl. He really liked her and they were doing great. And for some reason, body count came up and she had many, many people. And he broke up with her. She was honest, which is really good. But this is why it's important. Watch the body count, because it was eating at him. And, he's just like, I couldn't get that picture out of my head. All these guys with the woman I'm with. Now, I feel that there's a good possibility she was not cheating, but in his mind, it's like that he knows there's going to be soul ties. He knows that she's able to give her body to someone else. When somebody is kind of reluctant to be with someone, they respect their body. They respect the commitment. And it's just a really interesting way that things play out based on our actions, our past. It is good to be honest, but when we're thinking, why don't I have a husband? Why don't I have this? we have to look within. Are we, drinking? Are we doing drugs? Are we doing this? Are we promiscuous? Are we clubbing all the time? And, there's nothing wrong with going, and this is where it gets crazy is, you know, not that there's necessarily anything wrong with going clubbing, but it can be seen in a certain way. And unfortunately, image is a lot of things, how my car is messy right now. But what are we presenting? So I talked about this one person that needed a place to stay, and he was a great guy. But I am female, and I could have helped him out, and I was really torn. Like, do I just help him out? But from the outside looking in, if I'm living with a man, even if it's temporary, that people are going to perceive it a certain way. And I could even say, oh, there's nothing sexual going on, or we sleep in different bedrooms, but people are still going to make up their own stories in their head. So present the best that you can as who you want to be for your person, so when you're trying to establish a relationship with the one that she likes the best, there's also he's going to have feelings about her being with somebody else or several people. Also, I want her to build her self-esteem up. There are times that we let down our guard. As women, there are times that women will use sex for money or a free meal or all these kind of things, but you got to think long term. Is the money worth it? Is the soul tie worth it? Is it the emotions that you're going to go through worth it? Are you going to increase or decrease your self-esteem because of it? So stay true to yourself. If you're biblical, there are verses that talk about God will provide for you. Sometimes it's not always what we think, but we will survive. Maybe you have to go to a homeless shelter. Maybe you have to sleep on mom's couch, or maybe you have to ask your friend for some food. You will be provided for. And, I believe there's angels out there. So when we're focusing on the negative, our life will be negative. We will be depressed. We will be anxious. But when we focus on what we have, and then we also have to evaluate, what am I doing with my life? Why am I with so many men? I want a committed relationship, but I'm sleeping with many men. And we also have to, it's kind of like that empathy. We got to put that empathy into our future husband, future wife. Do we have empathy that we are providing them with someone who can be monogamous? Are we providing like somebody who has like higher self-esteem because you can set boundaries? And I know she struggles with setting boundaries because she's like, I slept with them, or I had to sleep with them. We never have to sleep with anybody. I had a gun to my head and I still told somebody no. Thank God I survived. But I get there are certain situations, maybe you do what you got to do. But in her aspect, she doesn't have to do this. And, sometimes it feels like life is easier because you can get benefits, but there's also takebacks from it, self-esteem, possibly disease. You don't always know who somebody is. So now she's got all these men. Let's say one turns psychotic on her. You are opening up the adrenaline rushes or the obsessions of other people. And it can happen even if you're not with them, but it's increasing the chances. So I hope this video was helpful. Lots of love. I know it's a difficult situation, but as far as the depression, we have to. It's effort. We are worth the effort to shift our brain. When we shift our brain, shift our thoughts, it guides our life in a different way. And it also heals our neurotransmitters and our neurons, the way the brain communicates. I hope that was helpful. And I made it through the storm. Good, because I just took a shower and I didn't want to redo my hair. All right, guys, thanks so much. I don't know, the sun is too bright. Can't see. All right, thanks so much for joining. One-on-ones are available. Topic requests
are always welcome, and I'll see you in the next video.